Hey, what's guys? I'm doing a horsemanship update deck or rough deck list for you guys. So, if you guys have watched Wednesday's video, then you guys will kind of. I showed a sneak peek of this and that video to explain a reason why I made quite a few changes to this. So, yeah. So, this isn't the commander that I'm running. This is just kind of like an alternative for right now. I'll show you as the commander that I will be running. That I posted in the community tab. So it's Sisei's Weatherlight Captain. So you pay one of each color, search a library for a legendary permanent with mana value less than its power. Put that card onto a battlefield, then shuffle. This commander for horsemanship is gonna be busted. And I'll explain that here just right now. So, about 50% of the creatures in horsemanship are legendary. And so if you can manage to continuously pay the 5 and get, Sisei's power up a decent amount, yeah, you could pretty much bring out your whole board as long as you have the mana for it. Or bring out almost your whole deck as long as you have the mana for it, basically. Minus the cards that's in your hand. So, yeah, this is going to be bonkers in this deck. And it also gets a +1/+1 for each color among other legendary opponents you control. Yeah. So, this is going to be absolutely stupid in here. And then I'll show you the other, or the one other card that I had ordered for this, for the horsemanship deck. So I just put this order in last night for a Japanese version of this. So it comes into play, you lose 3 life, which isn't no big deal, and it just has horsemanship. So it's the final one that I didn't have, and it's not terrible to lose 3 life. It's kind of whatever, but yeah. So this is the alternative for right now, but Sisei is basically the main goal for this deck, for the commander anyway. So there we go. Trying to separate the lands so that way I can explain to you guys at the end why I have the lands in here. So there are a few Assassin's Creed cards in here, and I'll explain that as well, why I have those. So basically the main focus of the deck is this, which says whenever it enters, you may search your library for a legendary card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. So, which is also why it works so well with the commander. Using either search, or you can either use the commander to cast all of the horsemanship cards that are legendary. Trying to make sure that everything is on screen still. So, yes, there are shadow effects, but so you have 6 right there, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So essentially 11, but essentially 12 if you're including the one that I have ordered. So 12 legendary creatures that you can possibly bring out or search off of this, which is crazy. So, yeah. This other attacking creatures get +1/+0. essentially with this, creature you control have horsemanship, which doesn't really make that much of a difference, but it's still good. Horsemanship, I think this has haste is what the effect is for this. And then I forget what his ability does, but yeah. Not really all that critical, just for the horsemanship mechanic, basically. So, now for the art part, which is why Shadowfax is including this too. So, these are all creatures that you can beam off of Shadowfax. Because it's basically a 4 power and you beam out something that's less than 4. Or if it's 5, you beam out something 4 or less. So, it's kind of basically the same way as Sisei in a way. So, but yeah, these are all less than 4 power that you can bring out, and then sorry about that. I was trying to zoom in a little bit and got a little too carried away. Sorry. So basically, if you control both these, he essentially gets a +2/+2. So, and basically, whenever this deals combat damage, you get to draw a card. So, but yeah, there's the Shadowfax. And then you can also bring out some of the assassins off of Shadowfax as well. So there's this one. So whenever it or another short permanent enters the battlefield, deals 1 damage to each opponent and you gain 1 life. So legendaries, artifacts, and sagas are historic. Which, again, you have a whole giant pile of legendary creatures, so, and including your commander, so. And then this searches for the Spirit of Leonidas, and that's, and we're a creature you control with a legendary equipment deals damage, you get to draw a card. So, and then where you play a historic spell, draw a card, and then this creature can't be blocked this turn. So, and then where it does damage, you put a +1/+1 counter on it. And then historic spells basically have double strike, which is absolutely disgusting. Because if these unblockable dudes are big, yeah, that's going to do a ton of damage. And then there's this one, which, or a creature becomes blocked, it gets a +1 toughness, I believe, or, well, essentially a +1/+1, so. But, yeah, it's kind of crazy. And then I'll show the next few cards off. So you can basically give this to your commander, which I did with Ezio when I was playing a horsemanship assassin build for just trying it. Yeah, that's kind of disgusting. So it was essentially a 4/5 with horsemanship. So yeah, it was putting a lot of work. And then, so this spell costs X-less to cast, where X is the mana value of historic permanents you control. So if you have a lot of legendaries on the field that cost 5 or 6, you can essentially cast this for essentially free and be able to equip it for 2 and give a creature +10/+0 and vigilance. So yeah, that's gonna be disgusting in this. And then legendary creature you control get +1 or +2/+1 and have Ward 1. So, and then the other thing that I have in here is Marty's Wake, and then a couple of cards to untap your lands, because you really want to get off the 6 days 5 color ability as often as you can. So that's why these are in here. And also the Marty's Way to double the amount of mana that I have. So yeah. So just more, and then kind of recycle. Pay 2, tap, you gain 5 life, and then shuffle your grave back into your deck. So if there's anything that went there that you need that hasn't been exiled that turn, then you can essentially shuffle it back into your deck to hopefully draw it into later. And then more horsemanship stuff. Chromatic Lantern, which is obvious. More horsemanship. Haystack. So you pay 2, tap, target creature you control phases out. So this can be really good in a situation where if you only have one creature and your opponent's making you sacrifice it or exile it, then you can just tap it in response or tap this in response and just phase it out for a turn. So it's not bad to help protect your creature from being sent to the grave. So, and then this card. So you exile all creatures from your grave, or you can tap, exile the top 3 cards from your library. 4 and tap, put a creature card from exile onto a battlefield under your control and it gains haste until end of turn. So this is another way to reinsure that I can put my creatures back on the field in case if they go to grave for any reason. So yeah, it's just a good card for, it's like, my opponent might think that I'm out, it's like, I don't have anything on the field, and then I can just play that and then just be able to slowly bring back creatures. So it's pretty good for that. And they also have haste too. So Sheridan Mossy, which also gets discussing in here with unblockable dudes. So Unbreakable Formation, Indestructible, and then if I cast it during my main phase, +1/+1, and Vigilance until end turn. So, and then more horsemanship. So this does common damage to a player. I think that player has to discard a card at random, if I remember that effect correctly of this. Vanquisher's Banner, Leyline. So if you have it at the start, you can basically play it, and your land is basically tapped for any color. So, Swirling Tide, Jolos. So essentially it doesn't work with Joda very well, because it's 3 different colors, but it will work with Weatherlights, or Weatherlight really amazingly, or Sisay basically. So, Arcane Signet, Commander Sphere, Moonsilver Key. These are all just kind of mana ramp cards basically. Explore, Cultivate, Explosive Vegetation, Ramp Growth, and then Farseed. Like I said, just cards to ramp or get lands out faster, so you can hopefully get stuff on the field faster. So yeah. So, and then for the final part before it lands. So my Crest of Summer, I always had to have this in here just because, even though I don't really gain life in this deck, but it's just kind of a cool memory to have my Mom's Horse in here for several different reasons. So yeah. And the Spirit of Leonidas. So this essentially makes the legendary horse, or you can make it anyway. So Door Destinies. So you basically call a human, and then when you cast a human, then you put a counter on Door Destinies, and then basically your humans get basically a lot bigger. So, and then their card with lifelink, And then the equipped creature gets +5/+5 and indestructible as long as you have 30 or more life. So, yeah. And then, I'm going to show you guys the draw cards. Because there are 3 really good ones, or 4 really good ones. So, they're essentially all do the same thing, but just named differently, which is kind of hilarious. So, this one, a creature deals common damage to a player or to opponent, you may draw 1 card. And essentially, these 2 also do that exact same thing, but they have additional effects too. So, yeah, it's really quite good. And then the final one for the draw card is this. So, choose a creature type where it enters or attacks, you draw a card. So, yeah. So, more horsemanship stuff. Smoke Bomb is actually kind of crazy. All creatures have Shroud, and then at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice it, and then when you do, target creature you control can't be blocked this turn, which I mainly just have it in here for the Shroud, so that way my stuff can't be targeted. So, but Ponder, more horsemanship, Caster's Crusade, Preordain, and they shall know no fear. Basically, another creature type, creature with the chosen type get +1/+0 and indestructible. And then this card's actually kind of insane too. So when it enters, attach it to up to 1 target creature you control. Tap all creatures target opponent controls. Yeah. And then equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has whenever it deals common damage, you draw a card and then discard a card. And then for the final card is Rolling Earthquake. So deals X damage to each creature without horsemanship and each player. Yeah. Also another thing to savagely wipe out my opponent, so as long as I have higher life. So that's essentially it for the whole deck itself. Now for the lands. So I only run 6 non-basic lands. Now I'm sure you guys are probably thinking like, why are you doing that? You should run like shock lands and all that stuff. Well, I'll show you guys. Because I mentioned it in the Wednesday video. So I'll mention it in here too. So this is a card coming out of Bloom Barrel, which will probably be popularly played in a lot of formats. So when it enters, it deals damage to each player equal to the number of non-basic lands that player controls. So, if my opponent has 6 or 7, maybe 8 non-basic lands, and I only have 1 or 2, then I'm only taking 2 damage, and my opponent's taking 8, between 6 and 8, depending on what their non-basics are per amount. So, that's why I cut down my ratios for non-basics, is because of seeing how well it will work in prep for that card. So, yeah. And then there's 3, 5, so there's 6 of each land except for Swamp. There's only 5. So I'll show you guys. 3, 6, 3, 6, 3, 6, and then there's only 5 swamps. So yeah, so that's essentially it for the deck. So, yeah. I played this with the Assassin version Friday night, and it was actually kind of savage. So, I'm curious to see how the pure Horsemanship build would do with a few Assassins in the deck, as like support cards. So, yeah. So, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in next video, I guess.